All right, so today we are looking at function operations. So how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide two functions. It gives you a brief description of each. Addition, right, is f plus g of x. It equals f of x plus g of x. Same thing with subtraction, multiplication, division. You guys can, read. Bless you. Can read what those are. The order does matter though. So like in addition or in subtraction, where it says f minus g, that means you put the f function first, then the subtraction sign, then the g function. Okay, you can't flip it around. The order does matter. Addition and multiplication, not really, but with subtraction and division, order definitely matters. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the examples here. In the examples, it says, let f of x equal 3 plus 1 and g of x equals 2x minus 3. Find each of the following. And in example 1, it asks for f plus g of x. For these examples, f of x is going to be in red. G of x I'm going to put in blue, and we're going to go for it. So, f plus g of x. Okay, so based on the little notes right up above, I know that f plus g of x means I take f of x, and I add it to g of x. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take f of x and write it down. F of x is 3x plus 1, and I'm going to add it to g of x. G of x is 2x minus 3. From here, I'm just going to combine like terms. I have a 3x and a 2x, a positive 2x, that's important. So that will get me 5x. Then I have a positive 1 and a negative 3. Okay, so positive 1 plus negative 3 is going to be negative 2. So f plus g of x equals 5x minus 2. Okay, let's try it again. So in example 2, it says f minus g. Okay, f is first, so f is 3x minus 1. And I'm subtracting g of x. G of x is again 2x minus 3. Now I want to make sure that I subtract all of g of x. So I'm going to put all of g of x in parentheses. This forces me to subtract both pieces by distributing that subtraction sign. So this is going to be 3x minus 1 minus 2x plus 3. Okay, from here we're just going to go ahead and combine our like terms. I have a positive 3x and a negative 2x, that's going to be positive x. I have a negative 1 and a positive 3, that's going to be positive 2. So f minus g of x equals x plus 2. Okay. Last but not least, I have to find g minus f of x. Okay, again, like I said, order matters. So I'm going to take g of x. I'm going to subtract f of x. Okay, so g of x is 2x minus 3 like it's always been. And we're subtracting f of x, which is 3x minus 1. And again, I have to subtract all of f of x, so I put it in parentheses, and I'm going to distribute. I have 2x minus 3 minus 3x plus 1. And if I combine my like terms, I have a positive 2x and a negative 3x, that's going to be negative x. I have a negative 3 and a positive 1, that's going to be negative 2. So again, g minus f of x equals x minus 2. And you notice in all of these examples, whatever was here stayed there. Whatever was here stayed there. Whatever was here stayed there. The left side doesn't change. Okay, the left side is the rule or the name of the function. It tells you what to do. And then the right side of the equal sign is where you actually do it. Okay, so the left side is never going to change. We're going to move on to some more examples. It says, let f of x equal 4x plus 5 and g of x equals 2x minus 3. I'm just going to put f of x, that'll be in green. G of x will be in purple. Okay, so we're going to find each of the following. It asks us to find f of x times g of x. Okay, so just like when you're subtracting, you want to make sure that you have everything in parentheses. That way you're multiplying the entire piece. We're starting off with f of x, and we're multiplying by g of x. Okay, so f of x is 4x plus 5. I'm going to put that in parentheses, 4x plus 5. I'm going to multiply by g of x, which is 2x minus 3. That's also going to go in parentheses. And this forces me to multiply everything. To multiply this, we use FOIL. Okay, FOIL stands for first, outer, inner, last. So first times first, 2x times 4x, that's going to be 8x squared. Outer is going to be 4x times negative 3. It's going to be negative 12x. Inner is 5 times 2x. It's going to be 10x. And L stands for last. That's going to be 5 times negative 3. That's negative 15. Okay. Our only job from here is to make sure we combine our like terms. And we have 8x squared. Negative 12 plus 10 is going to be negative 2x. And we have a negative 15. All right, so this is f times g of x. Then I have f divided by g of x. Again, order matters. F is on top of the line, g is on the bottom of the line. So I'm just going to draw my little line. Okay, f of x goes on top. G of x is on the bottom. Okay, so I have my line. F of x is 4x plus 5. G of x is 2x minus 3. Now I'm being asked to divide here. Some students might get confused and say, oh, well, I can divide 4 by 2, so 4x divided by 2x, that just leaves me with 2. So up top, I'd have 2 plus 5, and that's 7, and then I have a negative 3 at the bottom, so it's 7 over negative 3. That's not accurate. If you cannot divide all of this by all of this, then you can't divide. There's nothing to do. You're just there. That's it. Can't divide 4x plus 5 by 2x minus 3, so there's nothing to simplify. There's nothing to worry about. This is my answer. Sometimes it is just as simple as that. Example 6, I have f times g of negative 2. So just like in example 4, we're being asked to multiply. I would write them both down in parentheses. I would FOIL, and then after that, I have this of negative 2. Okay, this is back from the previous lesson where we learned how to evaluate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to worry about just multiplying f times g first. Then I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Okay, so I have f of x is 4x plus 5. G of x is 2x minus 3, and I'm being asked to multiply. Guys, we already did this, right? In example 1, we figured out that f times g of x was equal to 8x squared minus 2x minus 15. Now what we need to do is take f times g of x, but instead of x, we're plugging in that -2. Okay, so this is where we're at. Every time I see an x, I'm going to put a set of parentheses. And I'm going to plug in my -2. And then I'm going to simplify. So I have 8 times -2 squared is 4. Okay, -2 times -2 is 4. I'm subtracting -2 times -2. -2 times -2 is a positive 4. And then I have that -15. So what I did was I worried about this exponent, then I worried about multiplying these pieces, and then I worried about the 15. 8 times 4 is 32. I'm going to add 4, and I'm going to subtract 15. And this will leave me with my overall answer for f times g of -2. Okay. 32 plus 4 is 36. And then we're subtracting 15. That's going to leave us with 21. Okay, so we actually got a number answer, and that's because we were asked to evaluate. We were asked to plug in -2. Now we're going to add, we have f plus g of 4, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, we know this, f is 4, x plus 5, g is what we're going to add. G is 2x minus 3. I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms, which are 4x and 2x, and I have a positive 5 and a -3. So f plus g of x is going to equal 6x plus 2, but I have to now plug in that 4. So I have f plus g of 4. It's going to be equal to 6 times 4 plus 2. So f plus g of 4 is going to equal 24. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 2, which is 26. Again, we got a number answer because I was asked to evaluate. I was asked to plug in a number for x. Okay, that is operations on functions.